Good morning. And there's some good news this morning if you're a fan of the Switch or Resident Evil, and that's because Resident Evil 7 Biohazard is coming to the Switch, and it's coming on May the 24th. But hold your horses, because there's a couple of problems. First things first, it's coming on May the 24th to Japan. It's not coming to Europe, and it's not coming to America on that date, and there's no release date for it in either of those territories. So I presume we will be getting it at some point, but at this stage we've no idea when. The second one is a bit more worrying, and that's that we're not getting this game as a cartridge or even a download, or both. We're actually getting it as a streaming service. And what that means basically is that you'll get a 45 meg download that will go onto your Switch, and then that'll allow you to actually stream the game from servers in Japan to your Switch. And that will cost you 2,000 yen, or £13, for 180 days of playtime. That's roughly half a year. And I have no idea whether it means that we're going to have to pay extra money if we want another 180 days. It works out at around £13, which is pretty cheap. But even so, £13 for a game that is, well, basically coming down via a streaming service, and you've paid your money, and if it's not streaming properly, you're in trouble. And we all know, about the infrastructure with these things, and we all know that these companies are trying to push streaming, but this doesn't look like the way to do it for me. It seems a very odd way to go about allowing us to have this game on the Switch. For me, this looks like it's some way of getting around the lack of space on the Switch. And I don't know if you've been following my channel, but I've got into some arguments with Nintendo fanboys about the lack of storage on the Switch and how it was going to be a problem. And as I say, I think this might be an example of that problem manifesting itself. Because Nintendo, they've had no announcements about high-capacity cartridges for the Switch, so we're in limbo as regards that, and it would seem that the developers are in limbo as regards that too. So for now, it looks like Capcom have decided that the only way to get this game on the Switch is to make it available by a streaming service. And, well, do you want to play a game via streaming services? I don't know what your infrastructure's like. Mine's quite good, but even so, streaming services aren't great for games. And I wouldn't want to be playing a game like this. Certainly not. So, I don't know. It seems particularly odd to me that they would be making this game available in that way. And can you imagine if all games are going to be made available in that way? You're not going to own them, but you're going to be paying this flat fee for a limited time use? Well, I don't know about you, but this seems like the craziest move I've ever seen in gaming, and I follow EA and Nintendo themselves have come up with some bizarre things. And it's interesting to note that last week I did a podcast with the guys over at GameCast for their Pocket Edition, and we were talking about how Nintendo's online service looks a bit, insipid. Count Fracula at that time actually said that he thought that after a year of great service and Nintendo doing really well, they've kind of reverted to type. And I have to agree. Whether this is Nintendo's idea or whether this is Capcom's idea, I couldn't tell you. But the fact of the matter is that Nintendo have given the go-ahead for this. They've given it the green light. So, I don't know. This game is available on virtually every platform. We've got it on the Xbox, and we've got the enhanced version on that, so it looks good. We've got it on PlayStation 4, and on there you've got the VR version as well. And then PC, obviously, you're going to get the best graphics on there. So they all offer something. And what does the Switch offer? Well, for this game, it offers very little, it would seem to me. And I wouldn't be buying it on the Switch, especially when you factor in that the Switch is primarily a portable. And I know some people are going to argue with that, but the fact of the matter is that most people use the Switch primarily as a portable device and as a second device. And some people double dip on games just so they can have it on the Switch as well as on one of their other consoles, if they're lucky enough to have more than one console. This becomes a problem on the Switch because, well, it's a streaming service, and how are you going to play it on the bus if it's being streamed. You're not going to get your games streaming to you when you're on the bus, are you? I mean, it's bad enough when you're sat at home trying to stream these games, but out and about? Do you really think you're going to be able to play the game in a coffee shop with the internet that they offer? Because my experiences of sitting in coffee shops is the internet isn't particularly good. So trying to play a streamed game just isn't going to cut it because the bandwidth just isn't going to be there. So the one thing that the Switch offers above all the other consoles, its portability, is utterly negated with this game. This is utterly bizarre. I don't understand it, other than, like I say, that it's as a result of Nintendo not releasing these high capacity cartridges. I mean, I don't know whether they've got technical issues with making them or whether they're just dragging their feet or whatever it might be. But the fact of the matter is that Nintendo should be making these available. Otherwise, we could well be seeing more games like this. I mean, personally, I'm not going to buy this game on the Switch because I don't want to encourage this kind of pay your money and get it for a limited time idea. It seems like another step in the wrong direction for the gaming industry. And I really don't know what Capcom are thinking. But anyway, that's my view on it. Let me know what you think in the comments. Is this another example of crazy ideas in the gaming industry? Or do you think this is a step forward for the Switch? Because, it is a way round its limited capacity, I suppose. I know maybe some people are going to come on and say to me, oh, well, it hasn't got a limited capacity and they're just trying something new because they're being innovative. And to that I say, bullshit. I think this has been forced on them in a way. I do. I think this is to do with the lack of capacity. And I think they have to find some way around it. But as I say, let me know in the comments what you think. And we'll have a chat as usual. And in the meantime, I'm going to go and get myself a cup of tea because reading about this is, well, it's left me nonplussed, I have to say. But anyway, I will speak to you in the next one. Bye.